Hello, it's Jimmy here at O'Reilly's. I have here a Citroën Berlingo to look at. Okay, so the reason this is here is it's been at Citroën and he's been told it needs a new catalyst. Now it's already had a new AdBlue injector replaced at Citroën, and he's been told it needs a new catalyst, which is over £2,500. Now the customer obviously didn't want to really pay that, so what he wants me to do is to try and clean it, which is what we're going to try and do. This vehicle hasn't come from too far away, it's only come from about 10 miles down the road. I would expect the temperature to be a little bit higher than that, even though it's not come from really far, but there you go. Maybe he was down the road having a coffee or something. Right, so we've got the diagnostic machine here plugged in. We're going to see what's going on. So the problem here is going to be that the NOx content is high. So we've got 200 particles per million coming from the exhaust. Temperature of the exhaust is 120 degrees. Injection of the fluid is authorized, so the AdBlue. If we come back up here, we've got, we'll have a look at these, all of the live data here. So this one I don't think is anything to worry about, the thermal agent of the particle filter. That doesn't seem to do anything on this machine anyway. 20 grams of soot within the DPF. Click that back. Exhaust line information too. Have a look at all of this. So the distance remaining before it needs a new particle filter there, 15,000 kilometers, which we're on 96 now. Now I did put a video up about that before, telling people about when your mileage runs out on here, you get the fault up. And if you look back on that video, there's a lot of people agreeing with what I'm saying, but I got a lot of comments on there saying that I'm scaremongering and I'm making false accusations about what manufacturers are doing. It's not false. You can see right there in front of your eyes, it tells you how long is left until you need a new DPF. Now you should only need a new DPF once the DPF pressure sensor reads that the pressure is too high and it can't clean it anymore. Now what I am surprised with here is on this is the particle filter pressure is high. We did have just 23 millibars, it's dropped a little bit, but the DPF is definitely blocked at that rate and it hasn't shown a fault for that, so that's surprising. What else are we looking at here? Distance since the last regeneration was 300 kilometers. Exhaust line information 3, let's have a look at that. So you can see all of the NOx system is working. The pressure from the AdBlue tank is good. DNOx, which one of these did we already look at? .5 bar of pressure within the tank, which is good. Temperature is 120 degrees. The bleeding status of the DNOx is still waiting. DNOx 2. That's the one we looked at earlier, so we've got 200 particles per million. We need to see if we can get that lowered down. What I'm going to try and do is try and clean the system out. Okay, if we go back to this one, what I will try and do here quickly is we'll wait until the DNOx system bleeding status has come up, and then we'll have a look at the particles per million again once the AdBlue has started injecting. So we're going to hold the revs up for a few minutes and wait until this is finished. Okay, so we're at 84 degrees. The pressure is up at 5.5, but it is not activating the AdBlue, so I think what's happening is it's just disabled it because of default. So we're going to just go ahead, we're going to clean out the system and we'll reset everything, then we'll have a look at the particles per million again at the end. Now what I'm going to try and do is remember the mileage on this vehicle, because pretty similar to the DPF faults, I'm going to try and keep track of the mileage when this P20EE code comes. So this one has done 96,000 when this fault has come. Okay, so what I've done is got the van on ramps because I'm going to go under and clean the AdBlue injector. Okay, so it turns out I don't need to clean the AdBlue injector. It's brand new. Like I've said, they've just fitted it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this NOx sensor right here, and we'll inject some cleaning fluid down through the catalyst and hopefully clean it. And I'm not sure if the problem is because the catalyst is dirty, it may be covered in AdBlue crystallization, or is this fault just another computer says it needs a new catalyst because of the mileage. I'm not sure yet, but we'll clean it out, reset it and see how it goes. I've done a couple of these in the past and I haven't heard anything back, so we're gonna need to do a few more of these until I actually know for sure that the clean is what's fixing it or the reset is what's gonna fix this issue. Okay, now I've removed the NOx sensor using a 22mm crow's foot spanner. That's what that is. Okay, now I'm going to use some of this DPF cleaning fluid. Get that inside in this pressurized gun here. Right, now I've mixed a little bit of water in with that. Okay, now what I'm doing is I've got this inserted into that hole there where I've taken out the NOx sensor. Got a compressor set up to 130 psi and we are just squeezing the trigger here, getting some of this fluid down into the system. Strange, I don't usually see the foam come out that colour. It's like a yellowy colour. Now I'm going to run the engine and we'll get the rest of this fluid put in. So again, now I'm going to hold the trigger with the engine on, get all of this fluid sprayed in, which is hopefully going to clean out any of the crystallization or any other contaminants that's in there. It's also going to clean the DPF down from 20 millibars of pressure. Hopefully that we want to get that down to sort of 5 or 6. I've had to reset the compressor. This compressor, it seems to struggle when the temperature gets down close to freezing. Okay, now I've got all the cleaning fluid in, we've closed it all back up. Now again, I'm going to hold the revs up to about 2000 RPM for around about 2 to 5 minutes. What I do notice with these vans is, anytime you hold the revs above 2000 RPM for more than a minute or so, you get this warning, clutch temperature high. But we haven't used the clutch, we haven't even touched it. It's all of these vans do that. Now if we give the van a few revs up and down, you'll see some foam and steam coming from the rear. So it looks like that. Okay, now that cleaning process is done, we'll probably come to the most important part, which is using the scan tool. This is the Launch Euro Tab 3 from Launch UK. So what I'm going to do is, I think we're on data stream there, so we're going to go back to special functions, replacement parts, work on the emissions control, and I'm going to do replacement of the DNOX catalytic converter. Now we need to switch it off and wait. Okay, now that that's done, we can now do the pre-cat. We're going to do that as well, and the same procedure again. Okay, now that's successful again. So we've done the DNOX catalytic converter, the pre-catalyst. We're not going to do the rest of these items because this is for the additive tank, for the Eli's tank. So we haven't done that, so we're not going to do that. And I'm going to go back again. We're just going to have a look in the service action, see what else there is. Emissions, filter regeneration, reinitialization, regeneration of the DNOX catalytic converter, reinitialization following replacement of the urea injector. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do initialization of the DNOX false, so that's going to reset. Well, it looks like it's already reset. Let's have a check after telling it it's had the new catalyst. Has that reset, or do I need to reinitialization it? The reinitialization is for when you've got a mileage countdown basically left. We've still got the engine light because we haven't reset the fault codes. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the reinitialization anyway. Some sort of fault there. Let me go back in again. It's probably because I switched the ignition off. It didn't work. Okay. Well, even though it says it doesn't work on these, I've done loads of them before, it does work. It'll tell you that it didn't work, but you look and the fault's gone. What I'm going to do now is go back, clear the fault code, which was P20EE. Clear. Go back to special functions again, service action. I think what I might do is, if it'll allow me to do it, I'm going to do the regeneration of the catalytic converter as well. Okay, but before I do that, it's probably a good idea to have a look at the live data so we can see now the engine fault has gone. We've reset that. So before I do the regeneration of that, I'm going to go back and have a look at the live data now. See if anything's changed. Data stream. We need to find DNOX system. NOX content upstream, select all. Okay, need to wait for this to wake up now. So we still have 200 ppms. It doesn't seem to be moving though, even if you accelerate it. So we might need to wait for that now to wake up. So what you need to do is wait for this temperatures to rise up, and then the pressure of the urea is going to start raising up and it will start injecting the fluid in. Okay, now we can see that the DNOX system is bleeding up. We've got 5.8 bar an hour pressure, so it is starting to inject the AdBlue solution into the catalyst. I'm going to wait until that temperature gets back above 80 degrees again. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and do the regeneration. Must be above 80 degrees. Drive the vehicle for 1 to 2 kilometers without exceeding an engine speed of 2000 rpm. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay, so we're just having a look back through the live data now again. So the estimated thermal aging of the catalytic converter now we have back to 1020, so that was at 0, which was a calculated measurement of the life of the catalytic converter. So that has now been reset. Everything else seems to look okay in here. If we come back to DNOX systems number 2, just gonna have a look at what we're looking at here. We've got 82 degrees on there. Now the NOx content seems to have increased, 860. Like I said, these NOx readings, I don't have as much experience on these as I do as just normal DPF work, but that seems high to me. I have seen some of these with like 20 particles per million while they're idling, so that does seem high. If we come back from here, read the fault codes, it's still okay. We've been on a test drive, done a couple of miles in it or so, it all seems to be okay so far. So we're just gonna have to wait and see now how the vehicle behaves after this has been done, and we'll try and give you an update soon. So that's it on the Citroën Berlingo, and we'll see you in the next video.